Jerry Jones keeps saying we're one defensive player away. I'm like, you had a defensive player. You had Micah Parsons, who's probably arguably the best defensive end in football besides maybe like Myles Garrett. You know, he's up there, right? Top 5. Their offense is great. I think their offense is like, I think Angel told me today, they're Super Bowl caliber. I'm not gonna like fight Cowboy fans on the fact that their offense isn't great. The addition of George Pickens has really helped their game. But the problem is with them is that their defense gives up more yards than their offense puts up. And that's wild considering their defense is last in the league and they're number 1 in offense. Just to tell you how truly bad statistically that defense is. Hey everyone, welcome back to Encinas Unfiltered. We're informed, unfiltered, and unmatched. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I've been saying this for 3 weeks now. We are officially YouTube partners. Join our membership program. It's literally 99 cents. It's 99 cents. You have the Founders Edition. You have access to all the perks. You have access to the videos earlier. You have access to the shorts earlier. One-on-one fantasy advice. Be a part of our Discord community. It just makes a lot of sense to join for 99 cents a month. That's literally nothing. So for a limited time, you're going to be a part of the Founders Edition. So go ahead and check that out. So you'll notice today, usually we have Colby sitting here while I do the intro. While our boy's getting married. So congratulations, Colby. So he won't be here for the next 2 weeks. He's going to be having his wedding and he's going to be on his honeymoon. So only this week. I don't have a guest for next week, but this week we have a special guest joining us. And X has literally no idea who this is. This is going to be great. I've been waiting and hyping it up all week. I'm so ready for it. Oh, there he is.
It's the boy Bebo. What's up,
Let's go.
How are you?
Let's go, baby. Let's do it.
Oh my God, this is great. This is great, dude.
You know, it's good. It's good to hear him. You know, it's because it's really hard to hear him from real down low in our fantasy football. You know, he's like,
bro.
I don't know. I'm way at the top, so I don't. You know, it's hard to hear from down low in the valley. But you know, hey, I'm proud of him.
Bevel's back. He's here for his annual episode. He does one every year since the beginning. He's back for week 7 fantasy football. He'd be here joining us next week, but he will be in Cancun. So good luck with that.
Nice.
You'll be in my thoughts and prayers with all the cartels. But with that being said, Bevel, thank you for joining us. I know it was a short notice, and I know you are a busy man. He gave up pickleball to do this with some baddies, so I appreciate you. No baddies? No, there is baddies, right? Yeah, there's baddies. Okay.
Man.
Anyways.
We're the cock block? Oh, bro. I don't want to be that, bro.
Hey, dude.
Come on.
He's helping out the boys, dude.
It was raining today all day, so
then there you go. So in today's episode, we got week 6 recap that has some NFL news. We got week 6 boomer bust. Of course, it's always PPR format. That's the new standard. Week 7 injury report. Week 7 buys. Waiver wire pickups. Then we have some week 7 starts and sits, as we always do. Our quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, Bebel. Nothing's changed. The only difference is instead of doing 2, we're doing 1 this week. We got some trade targets for week 7, and that is X's section because he is the trade master on these parts. And then we got week 7 football bets, which is something, Bebel, that we did OG, where we run through. We do the money line total or over under and the spread. So, and at the very end, hot takes. That is a section that we added when Colby came along. So they used to be called Don't Be a Larry for the week day 1 watchers back in the day. Now they're hot takes. So let's just get right into it. So NFL week 7 recap. So there's 0 undefeated teams. I said it last week, but the Buffalo Bills lost to the Patriots. So now they have 2 losses on Sunday night, and the Eagles lost to the Broncos. So I don't know what the heck's going on to these teams that were undefeated, but that's all point and laugh. The Jets are still winless. Justin Fields, who would have known? Justin Fields,
the best quarterback in the world,
and he's not even here to defend himself. That's the best part. So Bebel, Colby was very high on Justin Fields this year and ranked him like 13 or something on our fantasy pre-ranking. So we have to always give him some shit. So Justin Fields had negative 10 net yards last week in football. So if anybody wants to know how well he's playing, that's what's going on there. Really quickly, actually, I'm going to start with our guest, Bebel, since he hasn't been here in a hot minute. What are your thoughts on the Panthers beating the Cowboys by a walk-off field goal?
I was really pissed off because I had money on the Cowboys.
The boy's gone broke, dude.
Oh, man.
I was heated.
I think everyone had money on the Cowboys on that game. I think that's
and it was
fair.
like, It was weird because a couple of the guys that I follow that send out picks every week were on Carolina, and I was like, I don't know what you see
faded them?
there. Like,
There's some insider trading going on, dude.
Yeah, dude. They
That's
know
some
what's up in
insider
Vegas, I guess.
information.
That's
Like
what that
checking the
is.
scripts. Checking
Yeah.
the scripts.
X, what are your thoughts on that game?
Dude, the Cowboys to me are like the Jets were last year, where they look so good on paper, but for some reason, dude, they could just not put it on the field. And it's crazy to me. Like, you found your running back, so now you have your running game. Like, their offense to me isn't the problem. Their defense is just absolute garbage.
It's
Hot,
ass,
steaming
bro.
pile. It is ass. It's ass. In the words of the wise rookie Cam Ward, they're ass. So it's awful, dude. Like it's not even injuries at this point. Like, I don't even know what it is, dude. It's like defensive schemes are just awful. Like, I don't know what they're calling. Like, right now, for some reason, teams really love zone defenses right now. And I noticed that started to become a new thing in the past like 2 years. Was like these zones, these zone blitzes and stuff like that. Where, like, back in our day, like when we were growing up, when we had like the Patrick Petersons, the Darrell Revises, bro, we were man to cover. Like, let's go, boy. Me and you one on one. You know what I mean? Like, we had that, but now we don't. Like, they try to simplify it, dude, and it kills me. It kills me.
I honestly, like, I do think their defensive coordinator is a big issue. I mean, he was the Bears head coach, and the Bears weren't very good at defense anyways back when he was the head coach. So I think that's surprising. But Jerry Jones keeps saying we're one defensive player away. I'm like, you had a defensive player. You had Micah Parsons, who's probably arguably the best defensive end in football besides maybe like Myles Garrett. He's up there, right? Top 5. And to me, it's their offense is great. I think their offense is like, I think Angel told me today, they're Super Bowl caliber. I'm not gonna like fight Cowboy fans on the fact that their offense isn't great. The addition of George Pickens has really helped their game, but the problem is with them is that their defense gives up more yards than their offense puts up, and that's wild considering their defense is last in the league and they're number 1 in offense. Just to tell you how truly bad statistically that defense is.
Right. But see, that's one of the things that every single year, I feel like we as fans, like people that watch the game, like, this is what we learn, right? We learned it with the 49ers about coaching, right? Because Harbaugh takes over that team and all of a sudden they go from 3-14 to 14-3 easily, getting to the playoffs, no problem. You know what I mean? And now this year, we're learning about how viable one defensive lineman is. The pressure it brings, the disruption, the whole change of the game that it brings in that line. That's why they say, it starts in the trenches, dude. Like, all of it starts in the trenches. Dude, whether you played football, whether you listen to football, that is always the common theme and the one singularity that is always there, dude. Always.
That's actually a really good segue into what my next topic is, which is Fred Warner's injury. Like, that, speaking of one player making a difference for a team, like, don't get me wrong, the Niners defense wasn't very good. I mean, Fred Warner kind of helped Phillip and kind of patch it up a little bit, just being the leader there. But as soon as he got hurt in that game, the Niners' chances of beating the Bucs went down tremendously. Like, he was such, like, calling the plays, if they're going to go man, if they're going to go zone, setting people up, calling people in and out. Like, he really was that cornerstone for that defense, and he was that defensive leader. And with him out, like, that 49ers team that maybe had a shot at playoffs, I mean, I really don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know who's going to step into that role and be that guy.
I mean, to be fair, me and Colby kind of said that the Buccaneers were going to win.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I think the game would have been a lot closer. I think the game would have been a lot closer if Fred was still there. Because as soon as he went out, they started scoring a lot, in my opinion.
I would say there's an argument for it, yeah.
I think it'd have been closer than, 10 or whatever it was.
It was 11, no?
11, most close. But it wasn't, it would have been, I thought it would have been like by 3 or something. I thought it would have been a lot closer.
Yeah, it was 19-30, 31. Yeah. One of those.
And, and Baker did finish under yards, and so did Egbuka. I just want to point that out. So I technically was wrong. His projections are both under projections. Egbuka got hurt. Baker was
got the W.
Under. That's fine. Baker was under by 0.2 points.
It is what it is.
All I said. All I said was that, and it came through. But speaking of Emeka Egbuka, he also got hurt in the first half. That sucks. He was on fire. I know our boy Colby is trying to trade him really, really bad, but he's hurt. We don't know what's going on with him, and we don't know what he's going to look like in that offense when Godwin and Evans are there. I mean, to be fair, Baker Mayfield has shown for guys like Cade Otton, it literally takes everyone to be gone in order for them to start throwing to him, because Cade Otton is barely now starting to get passes thrown to him because there's nobody left. There's Tez Johnson, there's the other Johnson, and there's Sterling Shepard.
I think in all honesty though, like you're seeing it, like Mike Evans is obviously old, right? And then Godwin is getting there in age, if not he's already, I think he's like 29, maybe close to that, if anything. Anyways, but he's injury prone. So they in the long term would be stupid to just start throwing Egbuka into the slot. Like they should start rotating him out with Godwin if they're going to do anything, because you're essentially building for the future at that point. Baker's going to stay for a while, right? Obviously, they should be drafting a rookie quarterback and starting to get that developed and learn behind Baker. But, that's all future stuff. But you have a player right now that's playing really well. So you should be rotating him in, and he's going to be your future wide receiver. So, I mean, personally, me, I think he'll still be used, and I don't think it'll be too much of an issue when both Evans and Godwin's kind of off and on right now, but I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. But Mike Evans will definitely not step off the field though. He's the number one there.
He's the guy. He's the number one. Yeah. And I think that's what I mean as far as like you expecting him to be a top 10 receiving football receiver. Like fantasy, if I can talk, a top 10 fantasy football receiver, and I think that's what he is now. I don't think the projection is there for him. So now his value has significantly with the injury has significantly went down for me, and I think that's kind of where I'm looking at that. So, well, there's one I didn't add, and I actually want to talk about it since Bebel here is wearing his beautiful Rivals Puka jersey. You want to show the people that jersey? I think it's pretty sick, actually. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Hey,
that's the Rivals. Yeah, dude. Show them the back.
Sheesh.
The back's sick, bro. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's tag still on. Love
still
it.
Tag.
Yeah,
still
boy.
Tag, boys.
So let's talk about the Puka injury. I mean, I don't know how long he's out for. I know it's for sure a couple weeks. Do you think that affects the Rams, and do you think they can be okay with Devontae, or do you think that means Devontae is going to get doubled now? I might go to Bebel since he's a Rams fan.
They were saying that his injury is day to day. And possibly week to week, but it's not the end of the world because right after Jacksonville and London, we have a bye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he can rest up. Yep. Like, let's say, even if he doesn't play this week, which might change the game, but he still has 2 weeks to recover and then come back after the bye week. But I don't know if he doesn't play. I mean, last week he didn't play for a majority. What was that?
What's your guys' record?
4-2.
Oh, fuck, dude. Don't play him at all. Let him rest up. Let him get the 2 weeks. You can afford the loss. You could easily afford the loss. It's not a division game anyway, so what does it matter? Yeah. Personally, me, that's what I would do.
Sucks, though, that we're 0-2 in NFC conference play.
Dude, you guys lost to Levi South and Levi South, bro. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Anyways, we'll continue because you kind of already made your point, X, with not to play him. So, all right. So we got our week 6 boomer bust. Of course, like I said at the beginning, it's PPR format. The booms this week: Patrick Mahomes, 31.48 points. It's nice to see Patrick Mahomes being fantasy reliant, and he's getting back Crashy Rice this week. Crashy, he's back. The receiver one's back. Tyreek Hill's gone for the year, so that trade's not going to happen. I know we all wanted to wish that into existence, but Rashee Rice is back. He's a true number one. I really like him this year.
He's not a true number one. Stop that.
For the Kansas City, he is absolutely. He is their number one guy.
The number one receiver, but he's not a true number one.
He's put out more fantasy numbers than Xavier Worthy is, and Travis Kelce. He's their number one guy, dude. And they're playing against the Raiders this week.
He's their number one guy, not a true number one. Reword that.
Oh, well. I said what I said. I said what I said. We'll see after this week.
Really? So you're going to throw Rashee Rice up with Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra? You're on crack, dude.
He's receiver one for his
You know
team.
what?
Yes.
Hey, that take is just like my Bijan take, bro. We're both smoking crack. There's no way.
So you finally believe it now, huh? You're gonna take back that Bijan?
I'm gonna have to. If he shits the bed next week, though,
There's no way. He's playing the Niners, bro. He's not gonna shit the bed. He's gonna do really good next week. All right. So number 2, we had Drake May, 27.24 points, threw a couple touchdowns early in the first half. He's looking real good with that rushing upside. Who would have known?
Hey, that Mike Vrabel. That Mike Vrabel coach team.
Our boy Chad called it at the beginning of the season, told us we were on crack for putting him so low, and he's kind of right. I think he's like top 8 as a QB this year.
Right now he's doing
Jackson Dart, 23.6 points. Talk about a dog, dude. Jackson Dart, that boy's legit. I don't care what anybody says.
That duo they have over there is so sick.
That's nasty, bro. Him and Cam.
He does. The one thing I will say is he does need to calm down. He's rushing a lot, which is cool. Like, I'm all for it, dude. I'm all for it, but we saw what happened with Anthony Richardson, bro. You keep taking those hits, you're going to get injured. So just
don't
slide.
worry.
I'm all cool with the rushing, but that boy's like trying to, he Scatterbo's hyping him up, dude, and he's trying to truck people. You're a quarterback. Calm down.
Hey, dude. CTE boys, baby. CTE boys.
Hey, dude, take the slide, take the hit in the head, get the extra 15. Let's go, boys.
I really like what they got going on up there. And, Cam Scatterbo's up from sack. So that's kind of cool, too. The Valley boy. Yeah. And then we got Daniel Jones, 23.48 points. Hey, Daniel Jones.
Ex-Cow, or the ex-Giant.
Hey, dude. Hey.
Dude.
He's career resurgence, dude. I love it. And then bust. Cooper Rush, negative 0.12 points. Oh, bro.
Oh, man.
He was 3 of 3 at halftime, and then he just, I don't know, he got replaced by Tyler Huntley, and Tyler Huntley is out there looking like Lamar Jackson Jr., dude. It was crazy. They should have played him the whole game.
Wild.
Yeah, if they would have played him the whole game, that would have been interesting.
You guys might have lost. Yeah. Honestly, he was looking real good. He was looking good, dude, in the fourth quarter there. Then you got Justin Fields, 4.9 points. Mind you, he had negative 10 net yards because of all the sacks that he took. I think he lost 55 yards in sacks. Cam Ward, 7.88 points. Sorry, X, your boy's in here like every week right now. It's not good, dude.
Hey, we'll talk about it.
We'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that. Don't worry.
Get into that.
Then we got Dylan Gabriel, 8.84 points. And this one's here for the boy Hayden. I know he's over here watching. He watches the first thing that comes out Wednesday morning. He knows it's Shador time, and I think it is Shador time. You got to put that up. I think it's almost time, dude.
I mean,
that boy's gonna save that franchise.
To be honest, though, I don't think it's going to change much, dude. They might get a little bit more going, but it's not going to change much.
They'll get a win with them.
I mean, to be honest, though, I don't think Dylan Gabriel's really the problem right now because, I mean, you got Jerry Jeudy, which was a show all in himself, which was weird, but they don't like Judkins is off and on, so I don't know. There's just a lot of inconsistencies. Too much inconsistencies where I don't think that a quarterback change is really going to like make that big of a difference yet.
I don't know.
Step in the right direction, though, maybe.
I've been high on Shador, and I think Shador is the better quarterback, and he was the consensus number 1 before his senior year. And Cam Ward kind of just withheld from the draft, and he became Cam Ward. But unfortunately, all these quarterbacks on shitty teams, it's not going to happen for him. I mean, it is what it is. These teams are not built.
And you know what,
win.
though, the problem probably with me is just that I just don't like how Shador handles himself. So
that's fair.
It kind of.
But that's more of a personality thing rather than a playing thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree, and that's why I said that. Disclaimer.
But boom. So we got running back. We got Bijan Robinson, 35.8 points. Who would have known that he would have been the best running back in football?
Man.
I don't know.
I'm not ready.
You're not ready to
give up on
that yet? All right. Well, we got Rico Dwaddle, 33.9 points to put up against his last team, dude. He played on the Cowboys last year, and he put up 33.9 points on the Cowboys. And then you have Josh Jacobs, 32 points. I think the boy X just traded him away too to the boy Bobber.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you got
100%.
a tie. You got Devon A. Chain and Cam Scatterbo with exactly 31 points each. Mm-hmm. So pretty solid. Bust. Tyrone Tracy, 0.60 points. Man, X and I were pretty off on that one. We thought he'd be the starter when he came back. Nope. Yeah. Drop him. Ramondre Stevenson, 1.8 points. Went from a 2-touchdown game to nothing. So, I don't know. That's a weird one. I really don't know what's going on there. And then Quinshon Judkins, like I said, 3.6 points. He played the Steelers. It's a tough divisional game. I'm not too surprised. I think he'll be fine though. And then you have J.K. Dobbins, 4 points. That was the biggest surprise. J.K. Dobbins has been very good as of late for the Broncos. Just, I think all these teams playing in London and stuff are just having a really hard time, kind of getting it going offensively. And I would just kind of chalk it up to that. And I think he's safe to start every week. All right. Receiver boom. We have George Pickens, Drake London, 31.8 points each. Drake London, who would have known? We'd shit talk him a lot, but hey, Michael Penix figured it out last night. We got Jackson Smith Njigba, 30.2 points. And then Kayshon Boutte, 26.3 points.
Booty.
Bust. Cortland Sutton, 2.7 points. Michael Pittman, 4 points. Keon Coleman, 4.1. And Garrett Wilson, 4.3.
With the injury.
Yeah. And then tight end boom, Dallas Goedert, 26 points. Trey McBride, 21.2. Tyler Warren, 18.3. And Sam Laporta, 16.5. Pretty good week for tight ends, dude. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
But the bust, and some of these were Colby's picks, and I'm not really happy about them. Mason Taylor, 1.2 points. Isaiah Likely, every week, 2.6 points. Kyle Pitts, 4.8 points. Who would have known Kyle Pitts? And Hunter Henry, I hate when he's here, 5.7 points. The X is always hurting me on these ones. So those are our boom and bust for week 6. So usually we do a whole week 7 report. I just felt like that was kind of a lot and not necessary. So I'm just going to go back to what I was doing, which was just straight up new injuries and what's going on. So we have Amari DiMarcardo, his ankle, Marvin Harrison, concussion, Gesicki, left pectoral, Trey Hendrickson, his back. That kind of sucks. I know the Niners were looking at him. David Njoku, knee. Datavian Wicks, his ankle. Anthony Richardson, orbital fracture, warm-ups. Hit himself with the, what do they call the stretchy bands? What's it called? The workout bands?
Workout bands.
Workout bands, yeah.
Fractured his orbital. IR, done. Travarius Ward, concussion. Same thing. I don't know what's going on with the Colts. Both these guys are on the Colts. Warm up, someone hit him, concussed him that he was out of the game. Blake Corum, ankle. Puka, ankle. He returned to the game, but he's probably out for a few weeks. Garrett Wilson, it just says undisclosed. He might be out a few weeks, so that's something to monitor. Fred Warner dislocated and broke his ankle. He's out for the year. Go look at that. That leg should not be looking like that. Jawan Jennings has broken ribs and a high and low ankle sprain, and he played, so I don't know how much longer he'll be out there. Emeka Egbuka has a hamstring injury. He's supposed to get an MRI today, which is Tuesday when we film, so we don't know what's going on with him. And Calvin Ridley went out of the game with a hamstring injury, and that's literally the only decent offensive player for the Titans right now, so I don't know what's happening. And then, so week 7 buys, there's only two teams this week, but it's 2 big teams, in my opinion. You got the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. So replace Josh Allen, Lamar, you've had to figure it out, but Derrick Henry, James Cook, Zay Flowers, etc. So this next section is usually done by Colby, but Colby is gone. So I went ahead and made the list. First on the list, I don't think it's really a surprise for anybody. It's Jackson Dart. His throwing ability is great. His rushing upside is great. Like X says, he probably needs to slide a little bit more, but he must be rostered in your leagues, and he's a dog. Him and Cam Scadabo, dogs. Sam Darnold, Colby talked about him last week. He and Jason are playing well together, and it's not bad to start him in if you have Josh Allen out this week, and or if you just have favorable matchups, because he can put up 20 points. And I think if a quarterback can put up 20 points in fantasy, I think he's a good ad. Jacoby Brissett, I don't know how long Kyler Murray's going to be out for, but he almost squeaked out a win last week against the Colts, and he has rushing upside, and he looked pretty decent in my opinion, so he might be a good pickup too. And Joe Flacco got traded from the Browns to the Bengals, and he didn't throw any interceptions, and he looked good, dude. And Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, all those boys look good. Maybe not Chase Brown, but I don't like his this week's matchup against the Steelers, but in general, I think he might be a decent replacement, especially if he can just keep throwing to Jamar Chase. Next, I think the biggest surprise of the week is Kimani Vidal. People were like, is it Vidal? Is it Haskins? Who do we pick up for the Chargers? Vidal went off. Bebo is shaking his head because he sat him and could have beat me in fantasy this past week, but he sat him. And honestly, I probably would have sat him too because we didn't know. But Kimani Vidal is an absolute ad. He is the back to own in Los Angeles, well, for the Chargers. And I think he's a good starter until proven otherwise. Some of the other guys, it's like Bam Knight. He's the guy who kind of is getting the better of the carries in Arizona right now, but it's a committee. Yeah. Kenneth Gainwell, he's it's weird. He had a really good game with Jalen Warren out, but now that they're splitting, it's kind of hit or miss. But I do think that they're going to try to use him a lot more, and he's outperforming Jalen Warren, so he might be a good stash for a couple weeks. Next, I got Tajay Spears. Tajay Spears came back from injury, and he's great in PPR formats with his receiving ability in the backfield. Sean Tucker, he's just a handcuff. He plays for the Tampa Bay Bucks. In case Rachaad White gets hurt, we don't know when Bucky's going to come back yet, but if Bucky's out for a good while, if you're a Rachaad White owner, you might want to grab Sean Tucker just in case. Next is Keyshawn Boutte. He's one of the booms from last week. Absolutely went off. He's becoming one of Drake May's favorite end zone targets. So if you're in a deeper league, maybe 12 to 14 man, and you need like one of those flex receivers or guys who need to replace off bye week, he might not be a bad week to week pickup for depending on matchup. Next is Wan'Dale Robinson. So the reason why I put him on this list, and I've seen he's rostered in plenty of leagues, but I don't see a lot of people starting him. And I think with Jackson Dart really coming into his own, and now that Russell Wilson isn't the quarterback, he might be a decent flex option for favorable matchups. Not necessarily this week, but maybe in a couple weeks. But he is their number one receiver with Malik Neighbors being gone, and he's number 14 in fantasy overall this year. So it's something to consider, and if he's available, I would pick him up. So next is a trio of Tampa Bay Bucks receivers. This is granted if Mike Evans doesn't come back, if Emeka is out, and if Godwin is out. There's Cameron Johnson, Tez Johnson, and Sterling Shepard. These are all backups. Sterling Shepard's probably the guy to own between these three, but the other two caught touchdown passes. So if those three guys are not back, I would recommend playing them. Next, we got Josh Downs. Indianapolis is a good team, so he's viable. He got more receptions and more looks than Michael Pittman did, so he might be somebody to look for in a decent matchup. Michael Mayer, tight end for the Raiders. He's the backup to Brock Bowers, but we don't know how long Brock Bowers is going to be out for, and he did catch a touchdown last week, so it might be considering to add him if you're a Brock Bowers owner. AJ Barner, I know X really liked him, and we talked about him last week. He's not the starting tight end in Seattle, but he is the receiving tight end in Seattle, so I do recommend picking him up and definitely playing him in favorable matchups, especially with Sam Darnold. He loves his tight ends. Cade Otton, and it's kind of a theme here with the Bucks. Cade Otton is finally getting some targets because everybody's hurt. So just like last year when everyone got hurt, Cade started getting targets. And if a lot of these guys are out, I would recommend picking him up as a week-to-week kind of starter or fill-in for bye weeks. Then you got Harold Fannin Jr. Njoku's out. I don't know for how long, but he put up 15.1 points last week, so I really would recommend him there. It seems like Cleveland's going young, and if he could be Dylan Gabriel's safety net. So I do recommend picking him up. And then some defenses that I like this week is Kansas City versus Vegas, New England at Tennessee, and Chicago versus New Orleans. Finally, we're here. Took us a while. We had a lot to talk about today. All right, we're finally at our starts and sits. Starting at quarterback. I'm starting Dak versus Washington. Dak is on pace to be a really good quarterback this year, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode. Great offense, bad defense. It's a divisional game, but when I was looking back at how Dak played against Washington, he statistically is very good, and it's going to be a very back and forth game, high scoring game. So I think you just got to play him, and you got to play him every week, depending or regardless of matchup at this point. He's proven that he could be an every week starter. You're sitting Matt Stafford to Jacksonville. Ooh, Bevel. I don't know if you're going to like that one, man, but he was having a rough go at it against Baltimore. He didn't look too good. He only put up like 9 fantasy points this week. And with Puka being out, he's not going to have that safety receiver there. And I think Devontae's going to get doubled. So it's going to be, is Higbee going to be good enough to get those open in the middle throws? Is Tutu going to come back? I don't know. Or is he just going to dump it off to Kyron? Either way, Jacksonville's defense is pretty good this year. So I don't really trust it. I would kind of fade them this week. X, who you got starting at quarterback this week?
Starting, I actually got Joe Flacco going against Pittsburgh. I think that Joe Flacco, I like what Flacco's doing. I think instead of Flacco having less than a week to really develop a chemistry and practice, I think now with a full week, he'll start to get that going. And Pittsburgh, right now, their offense is kind of hit or miss, but they do have a lot of 3 and outs. So if they do score, then, we'll watch Joe Flacco have a lot of opportunities. So I think that'll be good. Sitting, you're going to sit Tua against Cleveland. Cleveland has really good front, and this might be the game that old Tua, he gets that injury again. If any game is going to be it, I kind of feel like it's going to be this. So, for that reason, we're going to sit the boy.
All right, Bevel, who you got starting at quarterback this week?
Starting at quarterback, I got Perk Rogers. Just, I like you guys had a nice explanation. You guys were ready to talk about why you guys are starting. I'm starting Perk Rogers just because I think he's going to win the icy hot bowl on Thursday Night Football.
The Icy Hot Bowl.
That's what they called it on I saw one of the things on
that's
Instagram.
wild.
Or the Unk Bowl. Like you two, if you guys were in a football game, it'd be the Unk Bowl.
The Unk Bowl, bro.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
And I'm sitting Justin Fields this week, and I think for the rest of the season.
Oh, that's hot.
Oh,
That's a hot take right there, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Dude, there's no way you're not.
Like when you got people inside the organization or inside the locker room saying that Tyrod Taylor should have been the starter since week 1 and Justin Fields didn't have a real quarterback competition to take over that week 1 starting job, like something's not going right. So
wow. I think
that's
you
how I
should
feel.
definitely be addressing Colby on that one because Colby's a big Justin Fields guy. All right, starting running back. I got Quishon Judkins versus Miami. Why am I starting him against Miami? Because Miami literally just gave up a bunch of yards to Vidal, who was a practice squad guy from the Chargers in week 6. He put up like stupid amounts of yards. Miami's defense has not been good. I don't really know what's going on over there. I'm actually going to talk about them a little bit later with Tua and his dry snitching is what some of the people called it online. But Judkins in a favorable matchup has proven to be very good. He will score a touchdown, so I really like his matchup this week, and he is the clear number 1 guy, so I think he's a very easy start. You're sitting Travis Etienne versus Los Angeles Rams, and I know they're playing in London, which is essentially Jacksonville's second home at this point. They literally play there every year, it seems like. But the Rams have a great young defense that is good at stopping the run. And I think Travis Etienne is just going to not have a good game. So, and a lot of these London games have been very low scoring. So I wouldn't put it past him to score under his projection. So, X, who you got starting running back this week?
I started running back. I got Krosky Merritt going against Dallas.
Boy, Bill.
I thought he was going to do good last week. I don't know what happened. I'm not 100% doubting him yet. But Dallas, as we kind of covered at the beginning of the show, doesn't really have a good front right now. Their defense is constantly giving up points, constantly giving up yardage. So I don't see why he can't repeat and do what he needs to do. He just needs to get a little bit more confident again. And I think once he does that, he'll be just fine. You're going to sit Tony Pollard against New England. New England, with Mike Vrabel being their head coach, was a defensive coordinator in Houston before. He's very defensive minded and he knows what to do. The Titans offense is not going to be able to do a whole lot. They got coaching changes going on, which we'll talk about later. But I was watching the Titans game and Pollard was getting a lot of his reps and his snaps taken by Spears. So I think what we're starting to see is we are now starting to see the transition over from Pollard to Spears. Pollard's still going to be the starter technically, but I think as we go on, we're going to start to see Spears snap count increase. So something to keep an eye on.
All right, Bebel, you guys starting at running back this week?
I got Rico Dwaddle, and I'm not too sure if Chuba's coming back this week. Do you guys know anything?
Doesn't matter, I think, at this point. I mean,
but I just think he's on a different high right now. Going against your former team and putting up the numbers that he put, you can't. I don't think it'll be really hard to knock that man down anytime soon.
I agree.
And it's versus the Poverty Jets. So I'm going to sit Chase Brown versus Steelers just because I don't know what's going on over there. They just haven't been able to catch a break. They had Joe Burrow go out early and I don't know. I thought Chase Brown had a lot of hype to his name before the season, and he just hasn't really lived up to the hype. So,
yeah, I mean, I think at the beginning of the season, even X and I had him really high, I think, on our running back list. He's just one of those unfortunate guys that it just didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of that has to do with
Chase Brown. I had actually a little bit lower because I kind of had.
I mean, he was a guy that you were starting every week, though.
I mean, to be honest, not really for me.
Oh,
I would have to go back and check the rankings, but I know I don't have him in the top 20.
Yeah, I for sure had him pretty high because last year he was absolutely going off. But I think a lot of that has to do with Burrow not being there because if they know you're going to run the ball, then they're going to just stop you. So I don't necessarily think it's him as like a talent. I think it's just more of like,
Yeah.
hey, you don't got your star guy in,
Well,
so they
well,
know
yeah,
what you're gonna do.
and I mean, you got to look at it too. Like, who are you going to be more scared of? Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, or Chase Brown? Like, bro, I'm going. If I was a defensive coordinator, I'm going to care more about the pass. I'll let Chase Brown try because he's not really a true running back, like in the sense of being like your Bijans or Derrick Henrys or anything like that. Like, it's kind of that mid tier that you're just like, he might get 2 yards, maybe 3 yards a carry. We can afford that loss.
Well, I think a lot of it too has to do with game script because they're playing so far from behind that they're just going to throw the ball and they're not really looking to pass. So,
but see,
a lot of those,
and that's the thing too, because how I see Chase Brown is kind of how I see Tony Pollard. Like, he's that receiving that PPR back. He's not going to run on you, so you might as well just cover the pass and let him try and run.
All right, starting at receiver, I got Rashee Rice, dude. Rashee Rice versus Las Vegas in Vegas. Patrick Mahomes, receiver 1, is back. He is back. If you look back at how well he's played throughout the years with Patrick Mahomes, it's been very good. Mahomes doesn't have a number 1 guy there. Worthy is putting up okay points. Brown, Travis, the running backs are doing okay, but it's mostly Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, kind of figuring out and putting up all those fantasy points, rushing touchdowns. And I think with Rashee Rice, it kind of opens up their offense a lot more, and I think they're going to be a lot more potent and a lot more deadly. And I think we're going to see the resurgence of the Kansas City Chiefs making that second half of the season push and going to the playoffs and eventually the Super Bowl, in my opinion. And I think a lot of this has to do with Rashee Rice coming back. That opens up the game for Xavier Worthy. It opens up the game for Travis Kelce. And I really think against this really bad Las Vegas team, he's going to have a hell of a game. You're sitting Travis Hunter, and I don't think I should have to say this, but I've been noticing people will still play him. I think Travis Hunter, for a lot of people, it's cool what he does, being both sides of the ball, but he doesn't do one thing great for fantasy reasons, right? So because of that, he's not really worth, I mean, honestly, for me, he's a drop because he's not putting up enough offensive fantasy points. But people who drafted him really high, I mean, I get it. You got to have him there, but I would honestly look to trade him or just bench him until he's going to be playing receiver for most of the game. X, who you starting at receiver this week?
Also, just to make a little side note about Travis Hunter is I think the reason why, because when I look at it, at least on Sleeper, it says that he's 100% rostered and 100% started. I think the reason why a lot of people pick him up is because some leagues do defensive player points. So you have a lot of upside to play him at receiver and still play a defensive player. So now you're double dipping into points. So I think for those types of games, that's where he's viable. He's probably very viable because that's what I would do. I would play him at receiver and then play him to get those defensive points as well. But that was just a little side note on him.
Yeah, and I think though that's like a very niche type of league, in my opinion. Like I mean,
yeah,
I know they have them, but there's not a lot of them,
To be honest, if you're playing that type of league, dude, those are leagues with people that have been playing for like 10 plus years of fantasy football. Those are your hardcore, like OG vets.
They're still playing on paper, bro. They're still drafting in person. Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, they don't trust.
That's
these
the greatest show on paper right there,
all.
bro. IDP leagues, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe we add that to the list. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So starting, I'm going to put the boy back on there. I'm going to start Lad McConkey against Indianapolis. When Indy, since I have a couple friends who are Colts fans, I do watch their games, and they love, once they start to get up a little bit, 7 points and above, they start to drop into his own defense a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So that opens up for a lot of these little 5 yard, 7 yard routes where these wide receivers can start to get those little PPR points. And that's what you're going to kind of look for. Quinton Johnston is coming back down to reality. We get as well that he is injured. But with that, Lad McConkey starting to assume that role back up there. And so I think Lad McConkey's going to have a good week. He's sitting Devontae Smith against Minnesota. I mean, I would have put AJ Brown in there as well, but we're not trying to do those types of people that that are going to be your obvious starters. But
No,
right now,
you can sit a starter for sure. No problem.
yeah, but
You can say both. That's
regardless,
fine for sure.
yeah, I
Say both.
I
Fuck
would
it.
say both. I would say both,
Yeah,
to be honest. Right now, they both are they're both just absolute messes right now. They're
yeah,
both unhappy with how the play calling's going and this and that. And I was hoping that once the Eagles got their first loss, that they were going to change this rhythm that they have of just this weird run, awkward tush push type offense that they're trying to do with these. I don't know. It's just weird play calling to me. I don't understand why they're not playing to their strengths, like at all. So it's kind of weird to me right now. Any Eagles receiver almost every single week right now, you're better off just putting them on the bench because there's too many question marks. There's so much uncertainty going on that now we're starting to hit that midpoint in the year where we're definitely not taking gambles anymore.
for sure. Yeah, and I think honestly, that'll end up being a hot take too, is something to talk about because that situation is really weird
For
too.
sure.
Bebel, who you guys starting at receiver this week?
I'm gonna switch it up real quick. I'm gonna do my sitting receiver first because I agree with what Xavier said with AJ Brown. Did you guys see what they said about the Eagles offense? They had a quote unquote good player only meeting this week.
Fake.
And
It's a
no
fake
way.
meeting, bro. Talk about fake
Oh,
news.
oh no.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
yeah, so
goodness gracious. That's
I don't know
good.
because the other week they said that Saquon, Jalen Hurts, and
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown had a meeting.
That's the one I was talking about. That's when I said it was fake. Because they said they had a meeting and then they didn't even have a meeting. It was just Saquon and Jalen Hurts having talking in the parking lot, and AJ Brown just walked up on them and started talking. So it wasn't even like a freaking meeting. It was just
I don't know.
the media played it
I don't
out.
know. There could be some validity to it. I don't know. I'm buying in that honestly it probably was a meeting because AJ Brown is kind of a diva, and that Jalen Hurts and Saquon are the captains in that locker room, like for sure.
Right.
They are the high voices. So I kind of agree that there might have been a little bit of something going on there.
My starting receiver is Jackson Smith.
So why you starting at Jigba?
He's had how many games this is week 7? He's had
Week 7.
I believe 4 100+ yard games, and 2 of those other games were 80 something yards and 90 something yards. Usually a wide receiver could have 2, 3 maybe good weeks, and then someone will start. They'll have more focus on him throughout the week, but it just seems like this guy is catching a 60+ yard bomb every week and just getting open a decent amount of time. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like Sam Darnold found what he had in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Because he's been going pretty crazy. And I hate to say that because he's in the NFC West, but you got to give credit where credit's due.
That's fair. All right. Next, the tight end. I'm starting X's boy, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz did really good last night, considering the Commanders didn't win, but he is Jaden Daniels' safety net, essentially. I mean, he's the guy that's going to be there. Jaden Daniels is back now from injury. He's playing against Dallas. Dallas is a really bad defense. We said at the beginning of the starts and sits. Anybody against Dallas, you're starting him. I don't care who they are. Sitting this week, you're sitting Theo Johnson at Denver. Denver has a good D, and I don't honestly trust the Giants right now. And it's not saying that I don't trust Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. I just don't think they did what they did against Philly, against Denver. Denver's a whole nother animal when it comes to their defense, and I think they're going to have a really tough time. So I don't like it. X, you guys starting at tight end this week.
Starting at tight end, I got the boy Barner again, going against Houston. I think Houston starts to slow down here against a good Seattle team. I know they had 2 hot games coming off, once they, beat one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Titans. Once they beat them, they started to get the rhythm back, but now they're going to go against a good team that is a playoff contender, and they're going to fall back to reality real quick. So I feel like Barner's going to have a good game. I think they're just going to let Sam Darnold just sling it. And I don't see why Barner, for me, in my opinion, when I do my tight end picks as well, I look at guys that are at least going to get you 10 points or above. If your tight end gets you 10 points, that's a solid week for the boy, 100%, because tight ends are very notorious for getting like 5 points, and that is not very helpful. So if a tight end gets 10 points, he did good. If they go above, the boy's doing great. Keep him for another week. So Barner's going to get you that 10 points. Sitting, you're going to sit Ferguson going against Washington.
Ooh.
Ferguson had a good week. He's been doing pretty good. But I think he's going to start to get a little bit grounded, right? Because every player that has good weeks, they eventually got to have their little fall off week. And I think that this is going to be the week that he has it.
I think that's a wild hot take. Jake Ferguson's the number one tight end in football right now.
I'm telling
Fantasy
you,
wise.
this is going to be the game, dude. As the tight end guru, putting my stamp on it. Self-proclaimed, bro. Self-proclaimed.
As the taker of the throne of the tight end guru, I think he has a good game this week if CeeDee Lamb doesn't come back.
Dude,
I think if CeeDee Lamb comes back, I think he has a bad game. If CeeDee Lamb does not come back, I think he will do fine. In my personal opinion. It's a divisional game. Dak's going to throw. They're the best offense in football right now. It is what it is.
Debatable. I would say the best offense is still the Rams, at least on paper.
I don't know about that no more. Not with Puka out.
I would say it.
All right. Bebel, who do you got starting at tight end this week?
This week I got this. This is a very biased pick, but I got Tyler Higbee.
I saw that. I was like, this guy.
Did you know it was Bebel when you saw that pick?
Oh, I knew. Yeah, straight up.
Okay.
Straight up. Honestly,
like,
I was looking. Hey, bro. Like, to be honest, I was looking at the little like comments, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Bebo. Hey, that's why in that text, what was the first name I said? Bebo. First name I said. Just looking at the comments, and then once I saw a Rams player starting, I was like, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I got Tyler Higbee. I don't know. Last week he was pretty involved in it. This is like the first week that they've involved the tight end, and since Puka's not officially ruled out yet, but there's a possibility that he's going to be ruled out. So it's just I think a good opportunity for him, especially with them opening up to him and letting him, or not letting him, but him scoring a touchdown last week and having a couple receptions. It's very optimal.
What you got sitting?
I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this one, but I got Darren Waller sitting on the bench. I don't like Tua. I like what X said about Tua getting hurt. I don't really like wishing injury on players, so I'm going to knock on wood. But
never. Yeah.
If this is a week, this is a week, whatever you said down there, and I agree.
I'm not too mad about your Darren Waller pick. He's playing against the Browns. To me, he's very touchdown dependent, and that's where a lot of his fantasy points is coming from. Because if he doesn't score those touchdowns, he wouldn't be very good. So I'm not upset about it at all. I think that's a fair pick in my opinion. But he has been hot with the touchdowns. So all right. Starting at defense, I would kind of give you a list of some of the waiver wire pickups. I really like New England's defense at Tennessee. Why? Tennessee's offense is boo-boo skibbity toilet, as the kids say these days. And they are probably one of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion. Worse than the Jets, and will probably have the number one pick. But that is just really me being biased against the X and really hoping that happens. You're sitting in Arizona. Green Bay, I know their offense hasn't been too great, but they have Jacoby Brissett as a starter, even though I said to play him or pick him up. I just don't trust their defense. I think Green Bay's going to get figured out. Matthew Golden looked pretty good last week. Dobbs looks pretty good. Josh Jacobs is a beast. So because of that, I think as long as Josh Jacobs is still there and not injured, you're absolutely going to keep rocking with Green Bay and sitting anybody that they are playing against. X, you got starting defense this week.
You guys are going to start to notice the trend. You're going to start Green Bay against Arizona for sure. Arizona, Brissett's not looking too bad. Marvin Harrison's out. So it's just their offense is just falling apart, and they'll end up in a Titan situation where even if their defense is good, their defense is going to get tired out real quick because their offense just goes 3-0. So that's why Green Bay, especially now with the pressure that they're getting, just coming off a bye week. They should be healthy. They should be ready to go. So it should be a good game for them. Sitting, you're going to sit the Chargers against Indianapolis. Right now, Indianapolis is really hot right now. The Chargers are suffering a lot of injuries on their offense. I think their offense will still be able to do what they need to do, but I just don't feel comfortable with this game to where it has the potential for being a shootout. So it's not really one that you can trust right now.
All right, Bebo, you got starting the defense this week.
I am starting the Chiefs defense this week versus the Raiders. I know it's a divisional game. Divisional games are always weird, but I was really pissed off last week watching the Sunday night football game because I had money on the Lions and they just couldn't do nothing.
Bro, you need to pick everybody that's opposite of who you're going for, because that's who always wins, bro. That's wild.
And I was just so pissed off that the Lions have this explosive offense and they can move the ball down the field and they never punt and all this stuff. And then the Chiefs just came out there and pretty much just little broed them. So let's see if they keep it up this week against the Raiders. And I mean, Geno Smith leads the league in interceptions or something like that.
I'd have to look that up, but I believe you.
That's tough to hear.
I believe you at this
That's
point.
so tough to hear. I had so much faith in that boy. He was Mr. Reliable, dude, but
he's reliably throwing interceptions now, buddy.
That's what Vegas does to you, boys. That's what Vegas does to you.
Who you got sitting?
Actually, not gonna like this one. I got Tennessee defense versus the Patriots.
Oh, I can't hate you on it, dude.
Because I mean, dude, I actually love the swagger the Patriots are playing with right now. I mean, they're first in a division since the Bills just lost.
Wild, dude. Wild.
Dude, and they've just been they've been playing. Drake May's finally clicking. Who would have thought Kayshon Boutte would be doing good? Stephon Diggs, I mean, he had a really good game. What was it, 2 weeks ago? But last week I think he went 3 for 28, but they very controversial, I think, offensive PI that would have been a 50-yard ball.
I saw that.
Very controversial. But besides that, the Patriots offense has been amazing. So
yeah, I think that's been one of the surprises for me of this year is the Patriots really stepping it up. But X kind of called it too with Vrabel, and I want to shout out the boy Chad again because Chad was telling us hyping up Drake May. He was right. He was like, "Hey, Drake May's rushing ability," and I will say I looked at their schedule. Drake May has a really good schedule going into football playoffs, so they might be. I wouldn't be surprised if they win their division this year if Josh Allen can't figure it out. So, not too bad at all. But the next segment, we're going to get into our trade targets. So this is X's section, and every week he kind of gives us some tips and tricks. So I kind of update my buy low, sell high, or do not trade list, just depending on the injuries and everything else. You're still buying low on Godwin. You're still buying low on Henry. You're still buying low on Evans. You're buying low on Diggs. And I added Justin Fields to the buy low candidate. He does not look good. Honestly, I would even consider putting him on the do not trade for list. Do not buy him until we know what's going on with him. You're selling high on Jamar Chase with Joe Flacco. Use that to your advantage and get him out because I don't know how long Joe Flacco is going to be able to keep that up, in my personal opinion. Sell high on Justin Jefferson. JJ McCarthy's back. If you can sell him this week, do it. JJ is going to be back, and it's not looking good for any of those guys. Rome didn't have a really good game last week, but I think he'll be okay. He's the best guy there for Caleb, and I think he'll be fine going forward. So if you got him really late in your draft, sell him, get something for him, get like a Chase or a Jefferson. Just, I just don't know how long he keeps it up for, but you can probably get somebody decent, maybe like a Mike Evans. Maybe go out and get a Mike Evans for him.
There you go.
Genty, sell high on that boy. He's looking good though. So I don't know, some people might not want to trade him now. Ever since he switched up to that Michael Myers stance that he does in the backfield, he's looking like a beast. And he's looking good. I really think he's going to be the focal point of their offense. And if you can sell him high and you have like a Christian McCaffrey and like a Derrick Henry, you could probably afford to get rid of this guy.
Go
get a top receiver for him.
PPR too. He's getting passes now.
Yeah, so I would consider, if you have an extra running back, go get a high-end receiver and kind of make your team a little complete there. Dobbs, sell high on. Pitts, actually, I'd put him on the do-not-trade list now. He had a couple weeks there with a bye week to go trade for him. He's kind of showing his true colors. Jalen Waddle's still on the sell high list. He's the only receiver there besides Darren Waller. BTJ is having good games. Start selling him. It's not going to stay. It's not going to be there. Sell him. And then Kimani Vidal, sell that boy. You got Vidal, you sell him. You sell him for whatever you can get because the Chargers are looking for backup running backs, and I don't know if Haskins is the guy who has the week this week. So use that high of how well he did, and if you can afford it, get rid of him. Go get somebody else for sure. X, take it away. This is your section.
Yeah,
this is
let's go.
This is what we've been waiting for. So go for it.
So who you're going to trade away? I only got one this week. You're going to trade away Montgomery. You're going to trade him away right now. I know a lot of people are going to be questionable about it, but right now he is not consistent enough for you to be picking now that we're starting to get towards playoffs. I don't expect him to start to gain really much traction as far as consistency goes. Trade him while you can. Trade him based off name. Trade him off why people are still hooked on him, why both of you guys made that face at me like, oh, are you sure? Sell off that right now.
I just saw, I think it was right before we got on, I saw a thing that Dan Campbell said he wants to start evening out that backfield.
Yeah.
With more 50-50 touches. But
and there you go. And I mean, that's also another good sell point because at the same time too, bro, we see it every week. We see Drake May every single week. We need to get Stephon Diggs more added in there. Blah, 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 blah. Bro, coaches say that, but if it ain't a part of the game plan, bro. We all know it.
They're saving him, dude, for a playoff push. They don't want him getting hurt again. You get those two boys in playoffs, and it'd be nasty, bro.
It probably
that's what it is.
Because you watch it happens every single year. One of them always ends up getting injured. So it's good to have them both still healthy, right? So that's why Ben Johnson was smart enough to keep the rotation going so that those injuries wouldn't pile up on him. None of them were getting too sore. None of them were getting too overworked. And now that they're not, they're starting to realize it a little bit more. So trade him away while you can. I think you can get a real nice, pretty penny for him. Who are you going to trade for? Trade for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry only gets better as the season gets better. You saw it last week. As he started getting more carries, he got 15 plus carries. The Ravens were in it. They were in the game as they were handing him off the ball. And then the second they stopped, the Ravens all of a sudden started losing. They will figure it out. They will figure it out towards the end. And especially when Lamar comes back, from his fake injury, he'll get it together.
Injury, bro. He's hurt.
He'll get it together. Trade. This one is going to be a little controversial, but if you were listening, right, it's going to be one of my tips too this week. Trade for Egbuka. You're going to trade for him. Why are you going to trade for him? For the reasons I gave you previously before. They need to get that chemistry going. He's a young receiver. He's a rookie receiver. They're going to use him more. Chris Godwin's still dealing with his injury, trying to come back. He didn't look good when he came back. Egbuka's doing what he needs to do. I see no reason. Right now, he had a bad game, playing a little bit off of an injury right now. Capitalize off of that low stock right now. As that's probably about as low as you're going to get him right now. So run it up.
Consider the injury is what I will add. Just consider the injury because we don't know yet.
No, 100%.
If he's hurt, don't trade for him. If he's going to play, then yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you got to weigh it out, to be honest, because right now, would I trade for CeeDee Lamb? 100%. I tried actually in a couple leagues
it's different,
to trade for CeeDee Lamb. He's injured, but sometimes injuries don't always matter 100%. But they are a factor that you need to keep in mind. So here's going to be your tips. Tip number 1 is going to play into the Egbuka portion. If you're winning your league, if you're doing well, take a gamble. Take a gamble trade. Don't be afraid to trade away some of your depth to take a gamble. You can afford it. You know your guys that you're not always going to give away, right? You know your superstars, you know your starters. You're not really going to give them away. So feel confident enough in your depth to take a gamble. Take a gamble. Pick somebody that, you're just like, you know what? I think he's going to do well. He's got an easy schedule coming in, right? Because you watched all the past videos. You've been listening to the tips, right? And so you're looking at the future schedule and you're getting that going. So don't be afraid to take a gamble if you're riding high right now. Don't be afraid to do it. I took a gamble with getting him on Raw and trading away Josh Jacobs. We're going to see how that plays out. I think, in all honesty, it's going to end up kind of being a wash. To be honest, I had the depth at running back to lose it. So I was okay with it. And I needed more depth at wide receiver. I wanted a superstar wide receiver. So I just padded the stats. Number 2, exploit your opponent's bad record and make them choose to either be competitive and to get to the playoffs, or let them die with their pride and have them go into a failed season. Right now, in my opinion, if you have 2 wins, start to panic. Start to panic. You need to start making these trades. 2 wins or below, you need to start doing something. As for you, you're in the winning category, right? You're riding high right now. Take advantage of that to your opponents. Make your opponent the guy you're trying to trade and get somebody good for, right? Make them make that decision. And if they don't take the trade, guess what? It doesn't affect you at all, because now you know that this guy isn't going to make playoffs. So no harm, no foul. If he takes the trade, your team gets better, and you know you already, in a sense, kind of got a good deal out of it because he's trying to save his season, that he's not really that much of a threat come playoff time. And your team only got better, so now you're even a bigger threat. Take advantage of that before the other people in your leagues do before you. Last one that I got, I got a whole bunch of tips and tricks, but I like to spread them out throughout the week so you keep coming back for the good stuff, right? This is for if you're in the losing section right now. Make trades to save your season. Please don't choose pride. It happens. You're either losing because of injuries, right? Because that's part of fantasy football, it's just injuries. Or number 2, which is another big reason. These are pretty much the main 2 reasons of why you lose in fantasy football. The second reason is because half of it's luck anyways. It just didn't play out for you this time. It happens. It happens to all of us. Last year, I was dead last in our league. This year, I'm number 1. It's luck. It happens all the time. If you played fantasy long enough, you know that this happens. See, there's the boy with the championship rank right there. But but all I'm saying is, when I was in that losing situation, I was trying to make trades to save my season. You need to save your season. Don't give up, because there are people that squeak in, right? If you're in a 10-man league, that squeak in that 6th spot and can win the whole thing. It's 100% possible. I'm sure every single one of us here have done it at some point.
That's how I won the first year.
Done it. I've done it horribly in a 14-man league. I've done it. So it's 100% possible. Don't give up on your season. Right now, if you have 2 wins or below, start to panic. Look at these trades and bite the bullet. Bite the bullet, and eventually, as playoffs starts to get closer and closer, then you can start to make those trades as you're getting closer and closer. So please, please, please save your season. Don't give up.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add to that is it's kind of more to the newer players, just because I see it, because I'm in leagues where there are some newer players, especially like my work league. You should be setting your lineup. I always say 5 minutes a day. I say on the toilet, but 5 minutes a day will win you your fantasy football league, or at least get you to playoffs. Check on the status of your players. At waiver wire, very important. I put out a list every week on Instagram, on TikTok. You should absolutely be picking up waiver wire targets each week if your team needs them. There's very rare that your team's going to be healthy at this point. And you need to be setting your lineups. And especially if you have a sleeper league, you should be putting auto subs in for those players. So if they have a chance to not going to play, that someone else gets substituted for them. There's a lot of times where I see people not setting their lineups correctly, not adding on waiver wires, and thinking, well, why am I 1-6? Why am I 1-5? I'm like, because you're not setting your lineup. You're not doing what you need to do.
Because you're waiting for Sunday morning at 9 o'clock to set your lineup.
And if you got kids or significant other, or you got other things going on, you can have time to do it. So And last thing I will say, treat every league like it's your most important league. Because I know there are people, and I'm not going to point them out, but they may be looking right at me right now, where they prioritize a higher dollar league over other leagues. And I'm not just picking on you. There's other people that I know that do it too.
Oh,
You
100%.
should
There's
treat
people in
every
my
league the
leagues that do
same
it.
because that is potential money. You did put money on the line if you are playing for money. If you're playing for free, disregard this because it doesn't even matter. I don't think there should be any reason for people to be playing for free unless you're under 18 years old. I will say that as a caveat.
Yes.
Because, we are YouTube and we're trying to be friendly to the people here. But treat each league the same, no matter what, whether it's a mock draft, and that's for the boys that listen who did stupid mock drafts, things like drafting Justin Tucker, Henry Ruggs. Don't be that guy. But anyways, that's the end of my rant. Just those little tips will help you get to what you need to do. And if you are in a situation where you do need to trade, like X said, do it, but make it make sense. If you're going to give up your whole team for a player, it might not be worth it for you at that point. And kind of just do what you got to do at that point.
So that also partially segues in. If you need advice, right? If you're new, what do you know? 99 cents will get you to talk to the trade guru right here, and we can work something out. We can get that trade for you. That trade for you. So you need to subscribe. 99 cents, bro. You could chuck it at kids as they're riding their skateboards, bro, getting out of school. You have the money.
Yes.
And we
for $1,
we have the trades, right? We're like fantasy Arby's, bro. We have the trades.
Wild. Not a sponsor, by the way. Not a sponsor.
No, not a sponsor, bro. I ain't doing free shout outs here. Those boys got to pay for that type of advertisement.
We got week 7 football bets. First game of the week, we got Pittsburgh Steelers that favored by 5.5 against the Bengals. And it's Thursday Night Football, dude. Really exciting. The total's 42.5. I'm going to take the under only because Steelers defense is very good. And I don't know yet what we have with Joe Flacco. I know X is really high on Joe Flacco. I just don't know yet. But I am going to take the Steelers at minus 5.5 because I think Perk Rogers is going to get it done with DK and Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Bevel, what do you got? What do you think?
I got Bengals +5.
Oh.
Just divisional. Might get scrappy and ugly.
What about the over-under?
Under.
And you agree with him, X?
Really? Oh, man. I'm definitely going to go Bengals, but I'm going to actually go over. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring than I think. All
right. Next game, we got the Rams favored by 3.5 against Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium 2, and they're in London, I believe. That is Sunday morning, West Coast time, 6:30 a.m. Make sure you set your lamps. The total is 45.5. I'm going to take the under on that because every game in the Europe has been very much under that score. But I will take the Rams at 3.5, even without Puka. I just don't think Jacksonville gets it done. X, we'll start with you this time.
I agree.
Bebel?
Bell to ass.
All right. Next game, we got Saints versus Chicago Bears. The Bears are favored by -5.5. The total's 45.5 points. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm taking the under on that. I will take Chicago at 5.5 though, just because I think their offense is a lot better, and I don't trust the Saints. So, Bebel, what do you think?
I agree.
X. I agree. All right, moving on. We got Las Vegas Raiders versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 10.5. Holy. I'm taking plus money on that 10.5 only because it's divisional games and they're always very close with the Raiders, and it doesn't make sense. So at first I thought this game was in Las Vegas, and it's not. It's in Kansas City, so that changes a lot too. Ooh. I think it'll still be close. The total is 46.5 though. I'm taking the under on that because it is divisional, but I for sure think the Chiefs win. Bebo, what do you think?
I agree.
X?
I agree.
Oh man, this is great. I love it when we all agree.
2-0, boys.
All right. We got Miami versus Cleveland. Cleveland's favored by -2.5. Oh, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that one.
What?
I'm taking Miami at -2.5, I think. As long as Tua is still there, they have a shot. But the total of being 40.5, I think we go under on that just because I don't think the Browns can score very well until it's Shador time. So, X?
I agree, but I will say I think it's going to go over.
Bebo?
I think it's going to go under and Miami's going to cover and maybe win.
I think they win for sure. All right, next game we got Philly versus Vikings. The total is 42.5. And honestly, this is going to be a weird one to say, but I'm taking the under on the total only because JJ McCarthy's back and their offense really doesn't get going a whole lot with him there. And the Eagles offense does not look good, which we'll talk about in a second. I think Eagles do win at -2.5 and with the money line, but I just don't like that matchup offensively. So I'm going to take the under. Bevel, who you got?
I got Eagles. I think Eagles will cover, but I think it'll go over.
X.
I agree with Bebo.
Ooh. We better clip that and make that into a clip. Holy. All right, next game. We got Carolina favored by 1.5 points versus the Jets. The winless Jets. The total's 43.5. Oh, man. This might be hot. I might be channeling my inner Colby here. I'm going to take no, hold on.
No.
I'm taking Carolina at -1.5. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm taking Carolina. Let me not get too
Okay.
crazy. But I think the total's going to go over because I think Justin Fields has a
Oh.
resurgence game. Yes, because the Panthers are not that good. I think Justin Fields will be viable this week. So I think it goes over. Bebel?
I don't agree.
So who are you taking?
Actually, no, yeah, I think it'll go under, but I think Carolina will win.
That's what I said. I said
Oh.
Carolina at -1.5.
No, you said over though.
Oh yeah,
So
you
Bebo
said over.
disagrees
Over
yeah,
on the
you
points,
said
but
over.
I said Carolina by -1.5. I just think the score is going to be a higher because Fields will have a better game.
No.
No? Okay. Well, we'll
Yeah.
see.
You're on
We'll
the
see.
island again, bro.
Oh, man.
There's no
All right.
fucking way.
Next game, we got New England Patriots favored by 7.5 versus Titans. I think they cover that spread easy. The total is 42.5. I think it goes to under only because I don't think Tennessee can score that much. Then that's the only reason why I'm taking the under on that. X?
I don't know if New England covers that though.
Yeah, I feel like that's too steep of a cover.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I do agree with the under though, but I mean, obviously New England wins it, but I don't know. I don't think they cover that.
What about Bebo? What do you think? You agree with X?
I agree.
With X?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next game, New York Giants versus the Broncos. The Broncos are favored by -6.5 poin's. I'm taking plus money on that. I don't think they cover that spread. New York Giants they're something. I don't think they win. But I think it's a lot closer than that. A lot of Broncos games have been close. Their offense has not been the greatest as the last couple of weeks. The total's 40.5 though. I'm gonna take the over only because of Cam and Jackson. And I think the Broncos are good. Yeah, I think I'll take the over that. That's only 20 points each, dude. I think they can get 21 points each. It'll be like 24-21. It'll go over. X or Bebel. Let's go Bebel first.
I think I like New York plus 6.5, and I think it'll go. Where are they playing? They're playing to
Denver.
I got over and New York plus 6.5.
So you just agreed with me. All right.
I agree with everything, but it's definitely going to be under. I don't think it'll be over.
All right. Next game, we got Colts versus Chargers. Chargers are favored by a -1.5. Really? I think I'm taking plus 1.5, dude.
Yeah.
I think I'm taking the Colts. I think the Colts defense is good. The Chargers are missing Joe Alt. I don't think so. The total's 48.5. No, man. It's going under, brother. That's high. X, what do you got?
I agree with you.
Bebel?
I agree with the first half, but I think it'll go over.
No
way. Wow, that's wild. All right, next game we got Commanders versus Cowboys.
That's the LA Chargers, not the LA Rams, bro.
Oh man. Next game we got Commanders favored by 2.5 versus Dallas. I'm taking Dallas. Commanders didn't look good last week, bro. This past Monday, they did not look good. I think Dallas could win this. The total's 53.5, and I'm going over on that total. I'm going over. We're talking about the best offense in football.
Was crazy.
It's the Cowboys, bro. It's the Cowboys. They have the most explosive offense right now. They have the number one offense currently. That's why it's going to be high scoring. Their defense is so bad that the Commanders are going to score a lot, and so is Dallas. That's only 26.5 points each. They can do that. This game's going to be in the 30s, bro.
And Colts, how much did the Colts drop? 27, and the Chargers dropped 29. That clears.
The Chargers
48.
are not going to do that on the Colts defense. Is what I'm telling you.
So, but I don't know. Jacoby Brissett did that to the Colts defense.
Yeah. The Chargers are not going to be able to do it with Joe Alt gone because their offense has been lacking because of Joe Alt. That's why.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so I got Cowboys plus 2.5. And I got over on the total of 53.5. Bebo, what do you got?
I agree.
X.
I'm going to take Cowboys, but I'm going under for sure.
All right. Next game, we got Green Bay versus Cardinals. Green Bay's favored by minus 6.5. I think the Packers cover that spread. And the total's 44.5. I think it goes over just because Jacoby Brissett kind of opens up the field a little bit. But I do for sure think Green Bay wins. X.
I agree with everything, but I would go under.
Bebo.
I agree.
With.
Green Bay and under. You guys said under, right?
I said under.
Over. Okay. All right. Next game. Sunday Night Football. Wait, what? The hell? Why is there so many Sunday night games?
I think there's
that's
2
right.
Mondays, no?
Yeah, I don't think that's right. Sunday, the ESPN messed up. Whatever. I don't know if I was supposed to name drop them. But all right, we got Sunday Night Football. We got Atlanta versus 49ers. 49ers are favored by minus 3.5. I don't know. I truly don't know. Bebo, I'll let you go ahead and X before I make my pick. Bebo, what do you think?
I think Falcons will cover 3.5, but it might go over, I think.
So who do you have winning that game?
What was that?
Who do you have winning the game? The Falcons?
Yeah.
X?
Maybe by a field goal at the most.
Okay.
Well, I agree with Bebo, but I don't think it goes over.
Okay. Well, this is going to be kind of hot here, but Brock Purdy's coming back. Ricky Pearsall's coming back. George Kittle's coming back. The Niners don't got a defense without Fred Warner, but I don't think the Falcons do the Niners what they just did to the Bills. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Bills. That was weird. But I think the San Francisco can cover the 3.5 spread. And I think with all their starters, minus, Warner and Bosa and Ayuk, I think they can get the dub. I still don't believe the Atlanta Falcons are that good. So I think that's where I'm at on that. All right, next game. This says Sunday, but it's actually Monday. It's Monday. We have Bucks versus Lions. This is originally going to be our thumbnail, but we've had Lions too much. So the Lions are favored by minus 5.5. The Bucks, I don't know. Baker's number one in the MVP race right now. Yeah. But I think with all those injuries, I think I'm taking Detroit at minus 5.5. They are in Detroit. The total's 52.5. I'm going to go over because Detroit has a lot of injuries on defense right now. And Brian Branch just got suspended for a game for punching Juju, I think, is who he punched. So
Such a stupid play.
Yeah. So that's what I got. Bebo, what do you got?
But yeah, I agree. I forgot Tampa. I was gonna go Tampa, but I forgot they have all those injuries.
Yeah.
And it would be a good bounce back game for Detroit after the performance they put up last week.
X.
I really want to go Tampa Bay, but I gotta agree with you guys.
Yeah, I think it's just unfortunate with injuries because we don't know what's going on quite yet. And then the last game is Houston versus Seattle. Seattle's favored by minus 3.5. I think they cover that spread. Yep. And the total's 41.5. I think it'll go over just because I think Seattle's offense is a little more explosive. Texans not so much. I think they had a decent game last week, or 2 weeks ago because they were on bye week last week. But I don't know if they continue that. So I like Seattle. Bebel?
Agree.
X?
Agree.
All right, next is our hot takes. So I'm going to start. So I kind of wrote this when I was very angry after watching the game. Are the 49ers playoff hopes done with the Warner injury? What should they do? And should they trade for someone or should they start trading away people? X, I'll kind of let you go first since you are the trade master here in these parts.
I'll do it in order. Are they done in the playoffs? I think so. Injuries just bite them all the time. They probably should fire their training staff and pick up new people to make sure that they're healthy enough. What should they do? I don't think that they should throw to get a better pick because there's a possibility that they could upset if they do make playoffs and ruin some people's playoff chances. I think they should keep playing, but what I think they should do is they should play really conservative. If they have a lead on anybody, just start pulling your players. I don't think they should play very aggressive as if they're trying to make a Super Bowl run. Trade for and away. I think they should trade away. I think they should trade away I understand that they just paid a lot of money. They're going to need to make up that cap space somehow, some way. They definitely screwed up on the Purdy signing. So I think they need to trade away some players and try and figure it out. Honestly, they're in this weird limbo spot right now. But I do like John Lynch as a GM, so I think that he figures it out.
Bebel, as a biased Rams fan, what do you think the Niners should do?
I should wrap it up week 7.
Trade Kittle to the Rams. Trade CMC to the Rams.
Oh man, that's wild.
No, I think I don't know. I mean, you guys are still number 1 in the NFC, so I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say your guys' playoff hopes are done. I mean, look at what Detroit did a couple years ago when they had half of their secondary and however many players they had out. But I don't know. I think you guys they just got people who are playing now and just need to step up.
I agree. There's a guy by the name of Nick Martin who's on the practice squad who has a really sick college tape from his junior year. I don't know what happened his senior year off the top of my head, but we're elevating him. I think if he was to step in for Fred Warner, he had like 100 tackles his junior year. So he can definitely play football. Whether it's in the NFL is another question. I don't think we're done with the Warner injury. I think our chances go down, like the percentage will go down for sure. Cause I think some of those closer games where I felt like, oh, we probably need to win these, like, playing in the divisional games this year or the rest of the year, it might not go our way no more with not having some of our key guys there. But I think this week coming up with Brock, with Kittle, with all these guys coming back, we got to see what the offense is going to look like because it has not looked good under Brock Purdy. So I think if he's going to continue to play the way he has, I don't think we're going to have a really good shot, and I think that's going to hurt. What I think they should do, I think they need to have serious discussions with Trent Williams because he's a big man, he's an older man, and he costs us a lot of money. So I think in the offseason, they should really consider like, hey, if this ain't it for you, maybe you should consider retiring and we can free up some of that salary cap. I also agree with X. We shouldn't have paid Brock Purdy, but I knew that was going to be a problem, and I've been talking about it since last year. Wasn't a fan of that. They need to trade for a defensive end, honestly, or they need to trade for some kind of linebacker. And I think that's what they need to do. Whether that's giving up their first pick, honestly, do it. If Trey Hendrickson is healthy and they're like 1 in whatever or 2 in whatever, try to go get him for a year rental. Because at this point, our window's probably closed for the Super Bowl. But I mean, if you're going to make any kind of shot, you have to go make a splash. And I don't think having some of the guys that are rookies to kind of go in there and make a splash is going to be the way moving forward. So really quickly, who's the worst team in the league? Bebel, let's start with you this time. Just very quickly, just one answer. Boom.
Jets.
X.
Jets and Titans.
Way to kill my thunder there. It's going to be I think it's the Titans. I think the Titans, I said at the beginning of the year, are going to be the number 1 pick. I think they are again. And I think they just need to have a coach in there and let them build chemistry with their quarterback and stop firing GMs every year at this point. It's getting really bad. I think they need to do something there. Who's the best team in the league? X, we'll start with you.
Best team in the league? Boo, man. Damn. Actually, that's a really good question. Best team in the league. Come on. I actually think Colts.
Wow. Okay. That's wild.
I don't like saying it, but yeah.
Bebel?
I saw that question like 5 minutes ago, and I'm still trying to think of who the best.
Right? Is that not like?
Why not say your team? You think you guys are the best in the league when healthy? I think.
I guess when all cylinders are rolling, yes, but that hasn't happened one time.
That's not realistic.
Season, so.
Yeah.
You want to just throw a name out there?
I was thinking either Colts or Patriots, honestly. I love the way the Patriots are
playing. I want to say Patriots.
Yeah, right?
I agree with the Patriots.
That's wild.
Wow.
I'm taking Old Faithful, dude, and I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me. I know Angel's going to be mad at me. I'm taking the Chiefs, dude. The Chiefs are looking good. Rashee Rice is coming back. I'm speaking it into existence. They are going to be good. They're going to go back to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you. Bro, they are going to go back to the Super Bowl. I trust an Andy Reid coach team over anybody else right now. They're going to go back to the Super Bowl. They're going to figure it out.
The Chiefs are not having blowouts like the Colts are. That they're not.
They aren't. But do you honestly think the Colts can beat the Chiefs? I don't think they do. I think they're going to get out coached.
No,
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Right now, I really like Kansas City, and that pains me to say it because they beat us in the Super Bowl, but it's.
I can't get past the fact that they don't have a running game and they have no wide receivers at all. Like Worthy is their best, and Worthy is a slot receiver at best.
For now.
So.
Right. No. Well, we'll see. I'm speaking Rashid Rice's transcendence into existence here.
You can try.
So another question I had is there a cost to all these injuries? Like, can you guys like kind of brainstorm here? Because it's wild. I don't think I've ever seen so many injuries in football. It's obvious. I really don't know. What is it?
Turf. 100%. It's the turf. It's the turf fields. 100%. Because on the turf, all turf is just small pieces of rubber. They beat up. They're beads of rubber everywhere. I played on turf fields.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, dude, your whole leg, because you're all sweaty. Here's the thing, though. In all seriousness, the thing about it is that the way that you stop on rubber, especially with those cleats, is not natural for the body, which is why all these injuries happen. On normal grass, the dirt will give as your body was intended. So if your body, you have the strength to make that stop, the earth, the natural soil will not let that happen. And you will slip and you will fall. And a lot of players are even saying it too. They're like, bro, we need to get away from turf because turf is your body's not meant to make these types of stops. So that it's 100% the turf. No question. That's the only thing that's changed is teams started going to turf. All these injuries, all these blown out ACLs, all these leg injuries start happening because of turf.
Bevel, do you agree with his take?
Yeah, I do.
So I am actually going to go in a different direction, and it's kind of more of like what I've been doing some research on. And I can't speak for every team, but I can speak for the 49ers. So I was doing some research and I saw or heard, I don't know if it's true, that the Niners kind of are practicing hard every day. It's not, they do walkthrough, but it's more than walkthrough. And over the years, I think that Kyle Shanahan type of practices are really banging up the Niners. Because the only thing for me that's consistent is the Niners are hurt every year. Christian McCaffrey, who's next? Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. Someone's hurt. Ayuk, right? Debo when he was there. So I don't know if it's the mix of turf and practicing hard or what exactly they're doing, but I do think the NFL really needs to look into it because honestly, at the end of the day, it's not really good for their business if a bunch of people are just getting hurt consistently. And I think it's going to be more of an investment to go back to grass rather than staying with turf if turf is what is actually causing it, in my opinion.
I do think one of the things too, just to kind of piggyback off that, because you got me thinking outside of the turf box, is that I think the way that the NFL is being played right now is also causing that, because now you're more for defensive players, in my opinion, but it also goes into offensive players as well, is that you're now trying to make them tackle a certain way that is not right. I can't fall on the offensive. If I get a sack and I fall on the quarterback, that's a roughing the passer. That's idiotic, dude. This is football. Like, what are you talking about? Like, the game is supposed to be aggressive. So that's why, like, if you think about it now, receivers, when they go across and get that slant route, they're not expecting to be annihilated, right? Because the rules were protected, and the defensive player will kind of pull back a little bit, which that alone causes a defensive injury because now he's trying to stop and he's trying to contort a certain type of way to get a tackle a certain type of way so he doesn't get penalized. And then the wide receiver, it hurts the wide receiver because now they think, oh, I'm not going to get plowed super hard, so I'll leave my body a little bit loose. And then when that defensive player says, nah, fuck that 15, let's go, boys, I'm about to rock this dude's world, and they just pile drive him like a tush push straight into the ground, all of a sudden they get injured because their body's so loose and they didn't expect that type of hit, right? Because even you, right? Say you're standing there, your boy comes behind you, shoves you real hard, you're not expecting it, bro, your neck hurts, your back hurts. like everything starts to hurt. I mean, that comes with being like 30, right? But
Over 30,
still,
yeah.
yeah. But nonetheless, too, right? Your body was loose. Your body wasn't prepared for that. So
Right.
I think that the way that they're trying to play the NFL to keep players safe is actually doing the opposite. It is actually hurting them.
Yeah, I agree. So I just have a couple more. There's some that are on here and some of that are. So really quickly, what do you think the Jets should do with Justin Fields? Bebo, just very quickly, what do you think?
Bench him.
Oof. X?
I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say just let him keep riding it out because at this point, if you get the number 1 pick, then who cares? Because I don't think Tyrod Taylor's going to be the answer for him. So that's kind of where I was at with that. And then do you think Joe Flacco gives the Bengals a shot at playoffs with Burrow expected to come back at the beginning of December? X, I'll let you start on that one.
I think he does. I think he rides enough wins for Burrow to come back and then just take over and continue to do what Burrow does.
I don't think so.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
No.
we saw what he did in Cleveland. I mean, but I guess you can say Cleveland didn't have what the Bengals have in the 2 wide receivers.
in weapons.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that's tough. I don't think so though.
I think it's going to depend. I think we need to see Joe Flacco play some good teams and some bad teams. And if he can beat some of those bad teams that they've lost to as well and actually get those wins, then I think he'll give him a shot because Burrow's going to obviously be the starter. There's no reason to not start him in December when he's ready 100%. To go. And he'll make that push and get those wins. And then very quickly, I just want to touch, we talked about the Eagles. We talked about Miami before I let X into his hot takes. What happened with Miami is Tua Dry Snitched, meaning he went to the media to express some grievances and how he had hosted a players only meeting and people are not showing up. People are not accountable. Kind of the Tyreek Hill thing that we were talking about because Tyreek Hill was kind of showing that too. Do you think that him going to the media rather than keeping it private is going to either cost him his job or lose the team of whatever left of respect that they had for him? Do you think it's there or do you think it's gone? X, I'll start with you.
100%. Snitches get stitches. Snitches do not no. If you snitch, bro, all respect as a man, all respect as loyalty, all respect as brotherhood is all gone. It's all gone. They already didn't trust their coach. Why now are they going to trust their quarterback that they're happy his brain just remembers enough to breathe? So
that's yeah. I mean that's fair.
No. I mean
Bebo,
realistically,
yeah.
That's
no, you're
just
right.
what it is.
Right. Bebo, what do you think?
I agree with what X said. I don't.
So I guess this is my other question then, since you agree, is do you guys think Mike McDaniels finishes out the year or do you think he gets fired?
I think he'll be the first coach fired.
Well, there already has been a coach fired.
Who got fired?
Titans coach.
Titans head coach.
Stefanski might be next for the Browns. So
I didn't even
and then
see
Dable's
that.
job just got saved by Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo, so he's fine. So you think he'll so do you think it happens sooner or do you think they wait until the end of the season?
I think it waits
I
till the end of the season.
say week 12.
Prediction. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, I think Mike McDaniels is a better offensive coordinator than he is a coach. Nothing against him. I think he's a great offensive-minded coach, but just like Saleh, he was a great defensive-minded coach and didn't work out. I think that they've both lost that locker room, and I guess what I should have asked you guys was like, do you think Tua is still there next year, or do you think they bench him? The backup quarterback, Zach Wilson. Do you think Zach Wilson can do better than Tua? Just based on leadership and everything that's happened. X, I'll kind of go with you on that.
No. I think Tua is still the best option. I think no matter who you put at quarterback right now with who they could pick up, with who they have, it's not going to change anything.
Bebo, what do you think?
Agree.
Well, this might be a little bit of a hot take. I mean, it is our hot take section, but I think Zach Wilson actually would be a better option than Tua. Only because I think of the respect in the locker room, and when it comes to being behind a guy, it shows a lot. You look Mac Jones, who went out there and played and stepped in for Purdy. I've never seen the offensive line play like that in 3 years. You look at Jackson Dart coming in for Russell Wilson. You see how well they're playing. Is they're really getting behind their guys that are becoming leaders and leading this team by example. And I don't know if I see that in Zach Wilson. I think I meant it more as like the fact that Tua is doing this, that the respect is going to be gone. So at this point, I think the team would rather have somebody else out there than to have this guy who's out here dry snitching to the media. And I think that's where I was coming with that.
I mean, at a point, it's worth a shot, dude. It can't get any worse.
And then really quickly, I'm going to touch on the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles had a player meeting. Bebo talked about that. It wasn't really a player meeting. It sounds like they had another one. I don't know if that's true or not. This is more of a statement. I don't know if it's really a question, but more of like, I think the Eagles need to feed Saquon, and they're not feeding Saquon. They are feeding Jalen Hurts these rushing touchdowns and these tush pushes. They literally ran 4 in a row when we saw them play. And I really think they need to give the ball to Saquon, and that's going to open up the pass for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And they were getting into the Goddard, but they need to get these other guys involved. They are very talented in their prime receivers. And I think if you want to go back to that Super Bowl and have a legit chance, you need to open up that passing game and not just rely on the tush push. So that's just more of like a statement, not really a question. So, X, go ahead and give us your hot takes.
This one's a little bit more of kind of like a statement in a sense, but I am happy to see the return of bruising running backs. I watched Dowdle play. That boy just hits the hole. He's not dancing back there. He's not trying to look to take people with speed. That boy is running people over. Then you got Scatabo. That dude's running people over.
Beast.
They're just absolute CTE maniacs, dude. Like, they're running like madmen, and I love everything about it, dude.
It's so fun to watch.
Dude, but it goes back to show exactly why Derrick Henry was so effective. And, he's my boy, right? So I always got to go back to him. But bruising running backs are good running backs. Same with Montgomery, right? That's why Montgomery does so well as well. You need the bruising running backs in the NFL. And like with the previous points that I said before, now with how people are tackling, dude, it's not even tackling. You watch safeties, all they do is throw their shoulder and their heads into their legs. But bro, when you meet like a man that's going to square up to you, you watch those dudes fold. And that's why they get all these yak yards, dude. These yards after contact. You watch that happen all the time. And I love to see the return of bruising running backs, which means we might actually see a little bit more physical football. And I hope that more running backs actually take what they're seeing and start to bring that back. I'd love to see it come back. Love to see it. Because last week was actually my first week of watching Dowdle play. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that
dude.
boy's just running through holes. He doesn't care, dude. He's making his own holes. Like, it's amazing. Right. It's so nice to see. So nice to see. Next one, news to Bebo, right? I'm gonna Adam Schefter you, dude. Titans fired their head coach. Every Titans fan could not be happier.
I agree.
I do want to put out a disclaimer on that. Is obviously we are not happy that somebody lost their job, their livelihood got taken away, right? We do not condone that. That's not cool. We are not about that life, right? We want everybody to be successful. We want everybody to be happy, right? Just as Bebo said previously about injuries, we don't like when people get injured where, there's, I hate to say it, but it's realistic, and it's the intrusive thought that everybody has in their minds. I'm pretty sure when people saw who the 49ers play again?
Bucks.
The Bucks. I'm pretty sure Bucks fans were a little happy to see Fred Warner go down. Like, realistically,
I was happy too, though.
Bro, look, we are not on the outside. We're not like, or anything like that. But for our team's sake of potentially now getting the win, there's a small bit of us on the inside that's like, ooh, they just lost their best middle linebacker. That means, this is going to open up a little bit more, right? That's about as far of the extent as we go. So with that, am I happy that Callahan lost his job? No. I wish he would have been successful, obviously, but it didn't work out that way. They chose to fire him. They chose to move on. So with that, I'm looking at the brighter side of things, right? And if any Titans fans of the 5 of us in the existence that are there, if you're excited about that, bro, you got some mental issues you should really figure out. But regardless, we're turning the chapter, right? With that, I am excited to see how this goes on. I hope we keep our defensive coordinator, who's really good. I hope we keep our special teams coordinator. They named the interim head coach, who is McCoy, who was the Chargers head coach for 4 years. He was the senior offensive advisor, something along those lines. I don't remember exactly his role, but he's going to take over as an interim head coach. So as a offensive mind, we're going to see if maybe that offense starts to click a little more. Defense doesn't need to, get a revamp because the defense is actually really good. Our offense is just ass to where it makes our defense look bad because when you're getting 1 minute on the bench to rest, eventually they're going to get past you, right? So we'll see how that goes. We'll start to see a little bit maybe of how the offense runs. We'll start to see if maybe it breathes a little bit of life into the Titans. So we'll see. This is an actual question for both of you. So I'll start with Bebo since he's our guest. Are the Patriots legit or not?
Is there a middle between legit and not?
I would say legit would probably be like playoff contenders, chance to go into the playoffs and actually do something. Not legit would be like, they're probably in the playoffs one and done.
It's like contenders versus pretenders.
Yeah. That's essentially.
I think they are on the good side of pretenders.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Wow. That's a hot take.
They're still a little too, they're like finally all clicking together.
Yeah.
But this is their first time as a whole all clicking together. I think
that's fair.
Maybe if they tighten up the running back group and do a couple more things on the offense, because I think their defense is really good right now. They have the guy who I like is Gonzalez. What's his first name?
Christian Gonzalez. Yeah.
He's a really good strap down corner.
Ron.
But yeah, I think they're on the good side of being pretenders. They're like
fair enough.
Just right there.
Wow. Well,
fair enough.
I don't agree with that. And I actually want to take this moment and again apologize to Chad. Chad, you were right. I was wrong. I told you I would do this, so I was wrong. They are absolutely contenders. I don't know if they win their division. I don't think so. I think Josh Allen could probably figure it out after the bye week. But I do think they will make the playoffs. I don't see any reason for them not to, just based on their schedule, as in they're fairly healthy for the most part. I think they need to get Travion Henderson involved a little bit more because I think he is going to be the better of the two backs where Mondre has a fumbling problem. And I think they need to figure out a way to get Diggs the ball, get him open. And I think Drake May has made huge strides from last year to this year. And I think his rushing ability also helps them in the fact that they're going to open up the field a lot more. And I don't know if they go to the Super Bowl or, go make a deep playoff run, but I for sure think they make playoffs and maybe can upset some of these half decent teams. So that's my thoughts.
I think they are legit. I think there's a possibility that they could go far into the playoffs. Will they make Super Bowl? That's a bit of a stretch, but I think that they are good enough to make at least AFC Championship game.
Wow. That's a hot take,
think they're
dude.
good enough. No. Mike Vrabel did it with the 9-8 Titans. We remember it. They beat the Ravens. They beat everybody and lost to the Chiefs, who ended up winning it, right? But it's possible. It's possible. Vrabel's been there before. He's been the underdog. He's always been the underdog. So he has that mentality, and now the underdog's on top. And Vrabel knows what it is to win, right? He was on the Patriots. He was sitting there on defense, rolling heads. So the boy knows what it is to win, and I think they're buying into it as a team. I think they're rallying around Drake May, and I think everything's clicking, and I think they're going to ride that momentum as long as possible.
All right, well, we can come back to this episode. Mark it down, week 7. If the Patriots make to the AFC Championship and then lose to the Chiefs. That's my official prediction. All right, everybody. I know this has been a longer episode, but there was a lot of things to talk about, a lot of good information. It was great. I really did enjoy the conversation today. Thank you to Bebo for coming on. I know it was last minute. I hope it's more than a once a year kind of thing. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and click that bell. We are YouTube partners. Consider joining our membership program. We kind of been talking about it throughout the episode. We're the first 100 or so people, depending on how we do it, is going to be founders. You're going to have access to everything. Back behind the scenes, unfiltered content, You're going to see our shorts earlier. You're going to see our videos earlier. You're going to get one-on-one fantasy advice. You're going to be able to talk to X. You're going to be able to talk to Bebo. You're going to be able to talk to myself, Colby. What do you mean? No, you're not going to.
They don't want to talk to me about fantasy, bro.
Hey,
we're leaving that
100%
in.
they do. Hey, 100% they do. They're going to be like, hey, Bebo, who you picking on your picks? And they'll just vote the opposite. It's solid plan, dude. Foolproof.
This is going to be a way for us to grow the community. It's only $1. The goal of it isn't to make money, and that's not what I want people to think. It's really to grow this community. Discord's the right place to do it, to kind of keep it and to keep the hype kind of in the background, as well as give you guys a direct access to us in order for trades or just to talk. And they'll have all the sports. They won't just be football, because we also do MMA. We also do boxing. We'll talk about baseball and basketball every now and then. So it'll be a little bit of everything. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I mean, you name it, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You're probably watching this on YouTube. We post all of our memes there. We post all of our content there. Just go ahead and check that out. But all right, everybody, thanks for sticking around. Until next time, peace.
Later.